Good morning from this beautiful part of the world. Someone say this morning about our thought patterns and how somewhere between 80 and 95 or 98% of our thoughts are repetitive and in a sense kind of useless. Like they're not taking us anywhere, they're not going anywhere new, they're just kind of like regurgitated thought patterns about the past, about the future, about our worries, about our anxieties, our fears, if you like, sort of exacerbated over and over again, kind of like expanding on that. Or maybe we're going over, ruminating on old thoughts, things that people may have said to us, done to us, slights against us, family members that have, hurt us or whatever. And we've got this constant flow of thinking that is, kind of wasted in so many ways, I guess. We got this beautiful brain, this beautiful, incredible capacity for thought and creation and to create new things and to, we got brilliant minds. Like we've been given these minds by God, I believe, by this incredible co-creation, if you like. So we've been invited into this co-creation where we are, with our minds, with our hearts, with our thoughts, we can come in and be partakers or to be part of this greater, creation. Obviously we're not making this, but we are also part of making the world a better place. We've been invited into the dance. We've been invited to be participators, ambassadors, if you like, for Christ in the world. There's something about our role that is significant, it's big, it's large, it's like this big story sort of stuff that I keep getting back to and is something I just can't escape from. So when I hear that my thoughts, and hey, I'll put my hand up here, when I hear that my thoughts are sometimes up to 98% just useless and wasted, I'm like, hang on a minute, that doesn't sound real great to me. As you guys may know, some of you have been listening to some of these videos I've been doing. I've been on a sort of a contemplative journey of recent times. In recent years, I'm trying to still the racing mind that is, the 98% unconscious mind that's just racing around, thinking about nothing, just repetitive thoughts, and trying to come down into spirit. So I'm coming to places like this, mostly of a morning, when I'm at my best, most open and fresh in the mind. I'm coming to places like this and I'm contemplating and I'm listening to spirit and I'm waiting and sensing what God is saying to me. I'm sort of allowing the counselor that is the Holy Spirit to speak to me and to reveal, I guess, part of that 98% of just, what is this rubbish? What's going on in there, mate? Like, get down to some deeper, more, I guess, expansive thinking. And that's why I keep coming back to this bigger picture thing. And a big thing that's come out of this big picture thing is that I keep noticing that there's this thing called the dualistic mind, that is like it's either black or it's white. So in other words, I can only see in such a narrow way that sets up kind of an oppositional way of seeing the world. So in other words, if I see something one way and you see it another, we are now opposed to one another, right? We're kind of warring against one another. I don't agree with you, I don't see the world like you do, and I see it and I see you in sort of a negative way now if you don't agree with what I agree with. And we've seen this in groups all over the place, but we've seen it really badly done within churches, okay? This is like, terribly done. We've set up this sort of constantly separation mentality where someone believes. Now, belief is one aspect of this mind, but belief, of course, is such a small part. What you believe, you can believe in your head anything, but it does very little to change unless it comes down into the heart and is contemplated, is thought over, it is meditated upon, it's chewed over, and is taken to be, living, active truth. And so as this happens, then we become world changes, then we become co-creators. But at the moment, we've set up this separating thing where we're just like, oh, well, I don't agree with your mindset. The way you see the world is different to me. Therefore, you're out and I'm in. Now, we've seen this go to ridiculous lengths. There's a group that my family's involved in, and it's called the Independent Baptist Church. And it's like this whole group of people, which is probably across the world. I don't know how many there might be. Let's say there's 10, 20, 50,000. I don't know, it might be 100,000. But they've had these little disagreements within themselves. So firstly, they disagree with everybody else about certain points, and they say, well, we have to separate from them and become our own little group. That's why we're independent. Okay, we're not Baptists, we're independent Baptists. So we're going to form our own little denomination. But then within that, they go even further and they go down and say, oh, well, I don't agree with your view on the rapture. Are you post, pre, whatever, millennial something or other? And you're like, really? And so they keep disagreeing. And then they say, well, okay, I don't agree now. Whereas before, at one stage, they were sort of fairly agreed about a number of things. And then this group that my particular family is involved, they get even smaller and smaller and smaller. And they begin to say, well, I don't believe what you believe, therefore we have to separate from you. So this group of maybe 10, 100,000, whatever, goes down to groups of 100, 50s. And now they're sitting in their own little enclave, like a little bunker, if you like, saying to the world, oh, we're not like you, therefore we are righteous, and anyone who doesn't do what we do is unrighteous. Can you see the foolishness and craziness of this thinking? Now, this is dualistic thinking on steroids, right? This has just gone crazy. This is just like black and white. I'm so white and you're so black that you're out. So from my family's point of view, obviously I'm black, so I'm out. I'm just like, Tony's like a heretic. He's just got no idea what's going on. But that's the steroids part of it. That's the extreme. But all of us have fallen into that category where we feel like if we don't believe the same as somebody else, we can't be one with them, we can't be united with them. But that's not really what's happening. There's a far deeper connection of spirit on a very deep level that is heart level, that doesn't have anything to do with our beliefs. It's who we are at a deeper level, spiritually. It's God's spirit in us connecting with God's spirit in them right across the board. And there's this oneness, this unity of belief in a deep way. Not head belief, but this deep, deep heart where we are one. We are one regardless of what we're saying out of our mouths or what our minds might agree or disagree with. There's a greater oneness. Jesus, I think, mentioned, he says, like, I and the Father are one. And you are one with us now. You are part of us, part of the greater, part of the hugeness. And I think a big part of our problems that we're having in the world is that we feel isolated. We feel like we are separate from one another, and therefore that we are now in a place where we are alone. And that's a scary thought. It's scary to be alone. And we look at the suicide rate. It's just huge. It's got out of control. What's happening? People are feeling more and more alone. And it's got something to do with this way that we think or see the world. This very dualistic either or, us and them mindset that really is so deeply entrenched in us. The wars that we have, the way we fight each other and battle over these small, insignificant points is really destroying us as a culture, as a world, as a community. Certainly as a Christian community, it's just got to the stage of absolutely being ridiculous. I don't know, there's some talk that there's over 35,000 different denominations all looking at the same book and saying, hey, this is what the book says, you guys must be wrong, this is how I see the book, this is what the book is, and you guys are wrong. Well, 35,000 people all looking at the same book, finding different parts and aspects. What does that tell you? Is everyone right or wrong, or is it there's so many views on and interpretations and ways of seeing the hugeness of God? Is it possible that God is just so massive that we're just seeing aspects of him, small percentiles of God and then gets caught up in our mind, and we say, oh, that's God, that's what he is like, that's how he is, that's who they are. And then we sort of have to divide and separate from everyone that may see God from this angle, or from this angle, or from this angle. Just like this view here, you can look at it from here, you can look over there, perhaps you're going to look down there. Someone might say, oh, that surf's not very big. No, there's not much surf down there today because we're looking from way up here. But I tell you what, if you're one of those guys on that wave right now, that's a pretty decent size. It's probably about 5 to 6 foot down there today. From up here, it looks quite small. But I tell you what, when you get out there on your surfboard, as I have done on many occasions, it's huge. It's over your head height when you start taking off on a wave. Perspective is huge. How do we see the world? Can we challenge this 98% of futile thinking and get down into the deeper parts of ourselves and ask the hard questions of ourselves? Have I got a dualistic mind? Have I set myself up as a either or win-loss situation where if I believe this in my mind, that means everyone else is out and I'm in? Really? Do you think that's how small this is? We've got to get bigger, don't we? We've got to expand ourselves in some way, shape and form. So I hope this is helpful for you to sort of start the process, maybe even of just watching and noticing your thoughts and where they go to and how oppositional they so often are. This is where I'm at. I'm just noticing these things, and it's kind of frightening to me when I see my own mind shooting off in these parameters. So thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the videos, don't forget to subscribe and like, please. It helps to spread this around. Please share it with somebody else. If you've seen it as valuable to yourself, please go ahead and share it. I'd really appreciate it. Have a great day.